Hey guys, how's it going? Sean back here with Everything REI, and today I want to talk about how I just lost my main source of income. Coming right up. So if you've been watching the channel at all, you know that one of the ways that I support my daily lifestyle without having a full-time job is by renting out every single room here in my house in Milpitas. Basically, I'm house hacking this home. I purchased this home in 2015 and I rent out every single room as well as my converted garage to my friends, mostly who came from Los Angeles. And when I first moved up here, I had a full-time job, so I was able to pay for the entire place, no problem. And I was also able to have my friends rent a room here, basically kind of like as a favor. And at first I wasn't even charging them that much money. Honestly, like I was renting it for about 600 bucks a month without any utilities as well. They were just friends. All right, I have an extra room, come through, let's live here. And then very soon, other friends decided to come here as well. So after a while, the whole place was packed and I was making some money. And then over time, some roommates moved. I had another person come in, then someone else moved, and then I had someone else move in. And then basically every time someone moved and someone else moved in, that's when I raised the rents. So the person who has been with me the longest, he's been with me for over 4 years now, I think, and I haven't even raised his rent. The only thing that I've done differently since that time is I said, okay guys, our utility bills are increasing, let's split utilities 4 ways. So it's not even that much. And by doing that, surprisingly over time, I was able to collect more rent than my mortgage payments and my utility bills. And I think I did pay a little bit for my taxes, but over a year, a couple of thousand for taxes isn't really that much, especially if you consider how renting a place here in the Bay Area, especially like maybe your own apartment, could cost upwards of $2,000 a month. So basically my cost of living was almost zero because I had all these roommates and it was really great. I loved living with friends. It was basically like living in the fraternity house again. You're basically with your friends at all times. You're playing board games together, you're watching TV together, you're going out to movies, you go to ski trips together, and it's great. And then over time, people move out, other people move in. Maybe you're not as close with these new roommates as you are with these old roommates, but still, it's a very nice community. And the good thing is, I feel like big houses get lonely. This isn't a really big house, but still, like if you're here by yourself and you start hearing weird things in the kitchen or you start hearing weird things in other rooms, you might think that maybe there's a ghost in the house. But in this case, I would always think, all right, it's another of my roommates. They're big boys. There's 4 grown men here. I never worried about having a break-in in my house because we had 4 grown dudes who live here. This place is always very active. If there were a thief to come by here, they would see multiple heads walking around on their own different schedules. So they probably would never break in here. Likewise, if they did break in here, we have 4 big dudes who would do something about it. So again, there is no fear of something bad happening to us. It's not like those horror movies where you're in a cabin in the woods and there's some crazy killer who comes out and gets you because you're only one person in the house and there's no one else you can rely on to help you. Now here we're in a suburb, we're in a very big street. Again, there's a bunch of people here. I felt very safe. It's really good. And I was relying on their income to support my lifestyle here. See, because I have these passive income streams, I don't have to worry about having a full-time job in order to just do what I would do. However, now that changed. I had one roommate come and tell me that the commute was just too much. We're commuting from Milpitas and he works all the way in San Mateo. So if you guys know the Bay Area at all, traffic on the 237 and 101 is terrible in the morning. There are just so many people coming from San Jose or the East Bay who eventually go on the 237 and then, go up the 101. So what he was doing was he was going on the 237 to Sunnyvale. That's the closest Caltrain station that can take him up to his job in San Mateo. But that commute was, I think, 2 hours each way every single day. And it's painful. It doesn't matter how much you get paid. If you have a 2-hour commute every single day, you are going to break down. And it's like, there's no reason to pay this rent, even though it's cheap, if it means you have to suffer this much on a daily basis. So he'd rather just pay a little bit more, get a place in Sunnyvale, and then the commute would be a lot better. And plus I think he has some aspirations of living with his girlfriend in the future. And I totally understand where he's coming from. So, just say thank you for living with me. It was great having you as a roommate. Okay, take care. So then once that was happening, I thought, okay, I have 2 roommates. I have 1 open space. It's a converted garage. It's gonna be hard to rent out. Our laundry is down there. So people have to intrude all the time to go down into their room to use the laundry. And of course, the converted garage is also maybe not the best place to live. It's not as insulated as the rest of the house. And because it's on a lower level, there's like a crawl space up here. So we're about 1 or 2 feet higher than the converted garage. There could be some bugs that get into the house and they would start from the lower level. So we do our best to make sure there's obviously no insects in the house. But if it comes down to it, that's probably where they would show up first. So it's not the best place to be. So I always knew it was going to be a challenge to rent out that converted garage. I sent out some feelers on Facebook. I sent out some things to my friend groups, and I got some inquiries. So one of the inquiries was one of my really good friends, and I was excited to have them live with us. And I asked my other roommate, hey, are you cool with having this person live here? just getting some feelers out there. And he told me, oh yeah, that's fine. But by the way, I'm also thinking of moving out in a few months too. And I was thinking, oh no. Because, I really liked having him here, and also him moving out obviously means I have to find another roommate at the same time. So now I thought, okay, I have 2 vacancies on my hands. His thing is very similar. Instead of going on the west side, he's now on the east side, and he's going very far every single day. He doesn't mind the commute, but his girlfriend, she lives in San Francisco, is getting her rent increased by over $300 a month. So she's thinking, okay, it's time to move out, and I might as well move in with my boyfriend to a new place. And then he has another friend also in Oakland. So all 3 of them are gonna find a place together in Oakland. And I said, that makes more sense. It's way closer to your job than my house is. And you can live with your girlfriend. She needs a place to live anyway. Yeah, my blessing, right? Like, thank you for living here. You're a great roommate. See you later. This whole time I'm thinking like, okay, how am I gonna fill 2 vacancies at the same time? And then just last night, my other roommate told me, hey, by the way, my girlfriend is moving up from SoCal. We're gonna find a place on East Bay as well. And then I was like, okay, so now instead of having this whole place filled and house hacked, it's going to be vacant, essentially. And it means that I'm gonna have to come up with a couple $1,000s every single month to maintain this place. And for maybe like 5 minutes, I was pretty sad. I was thinking, man, what am I gonna do? Finding 3 roommates at the same time is gonna be very challenging, especially here, right? It might have been easier if I was a little bit younger and had more friends who were just graduating from college, but my friends have graduated from college a long time ago. They're pretty much set where they are, or maybe they're older and they don't like the whole room-to-room situation. They prefer to have their own place to themselves. Like my friends, right? They live with their girlfriends. They would rather just live in a small apartment with their significant other. Makes sense, right? But then my girlfriend told me this could be a good opportunity. I was thinking actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just Airbnb this whole house, just like what I did for Santa Clara. Instead of having to do some kind of rental arbitrage agreement, I could clean this place up, furnish it, and then Airbnb it out, and then maybe I would go live somewhere else. Maybe I'd go live in one of my friend Tom's Airbnb rentals like we saw in Pacifica. And she was saying, oh, maybe we could buy a place together too. And I was thinking, I don't know if I have the DTI for it. DTI means debt to income ratio, which means I won't qualify for that loan. And then I said, wait, why would we buy a place? I already have a place. I have this place. It's a big house. It has low property taxes and very low mortgage, low interest rate too. The best thing to do is for me to just stay here and we can furnish out all of these rooms individually. And then maybe, yes, in the future, if we are very successful, I can then Airbnb out this room and then just leave. Or maybe even build an ADU in the back here, live in the ADU, and then rent out the whole house here. It was funny, she got super excited for me. She's like, yeah, it's great. I think she always wanted to be in the Airbnb arbitrage business because we see a lot of friends doing it and it doesn't seem that hard. And the biggest risk is renting a place that's for Airbnb arbitrage and then not being able to do your Airbnb business. And then now you're risking paying this landlord on a fixed basis because you signed a contract with them saying that you would pay them every single month. So in this case, there is no real landlord, it's just me. I can rent out every room one by one as the roommates leave. I can start phasing in their rooms. In the meantime, I can start converting my bathroom, kitchen, and living room. I could clean it, I can make it nice. I can start the whole process of finding cleaners and interviewing them and whatnot, and just overall getting better at the whole Airbnb experience. And then in the future, we hope that we can replicate this experience through other properties. Like, I think this is a great learning experience because I have experience with Airbnb with my Santa Clara property, but I only have half the experience because I have a property management company who is taking care of all that for me. And that's amazing, by the way. I would definitely not trade that for the world. They're doing an amazing job. But now it's a chance for me to learn a little bit more. Now I'll learn how to host. Now I'll learn how to deal with guests as they come through. I'll still be living here. It might be awkward living with some guests, but I think it'll be okay. So far for my other property in Santa Clara, we only get a couple of complaints, and I feel like if someone was actually living on the premises, then the people wouldn't complain as much. And a lot of the complaints does have to do with the fact that the house is new, so there's a lot of things that aren't working properly because of that. For example, when we first got the house in Santa Clara rented out, there were some issues with the piping, and that's usually because when you have new piping and some people don't do the right things, maybe they like dump some things in the drain where they shouldn't be dumping it, then it causes a backup. So you had things from the toilet backing up from the bathtub, and it was really disgusting. But after cleaning the pipes, it was all good, and it probably won't ever happen again. My house has been lived in for multiple decades. We already know all the problems with the house, so there's not gonna be any of those weird surprises. You know, there's no weird electrical issues. Like in the other house, there's a regulation that has these sensors saying that after 15 minutes or so of no one being in the bathroom, then the light will turn off by itself. But I guess the thing is faulty and it turns off by itself every like 10 minutes or so. So we're not really sure what's going on with that. Overall, it seems like a very good experience. I'm pretty excited. My girlfriend's also very excited. We're gonna be running this business together as a couple. I'll be the landlord. And I think the way we're gonna structure it is I'm gonna get paid a base amount, basically what my roommates were paying anyway. So, you know, I'll be safe. And then anything we make after that, obviously we have expenses and whatnot, but the net profit after that, we're gonna split that 50-50. So it'll be a cool way for both of us to get experience with the Airbnb business. And who knows, let's say we do really well with this house, we could replicate that to other houses as well. So we figured that since we're gonna be doing this business for this house anyway, might as well do it in such a way that there's a possibility for systems so that we can replicate it very easily and then have a successful Airbnb business in the future. So you're definitely gonna be seeing some before and after pictures in the near future as we start converting my crappy house into a beautiful Airbnb rental. Obviously the numbers are gonna be really high compared to what we were making before. Before I was probably making around $2,000 a month net plus utility shares. So maybe $2,300 a month net. And for a house in the Bay Area, I could probably rent out this whole house for $2,800 or $3,000. Then of course I have to pay for wherever I was living. So that's why it still made sense for me to do this. And they were very happy. They were paying very little for their rent every single month. And I'm a pretty chill landlord too. So even if they're late, I wasn't like charging them late fees or anything like that. But now with Airbnb, the potential is much higher. We're looking at some basic numbers. And for me to break even and basically like pay for this whole house, I only need to rent out the rooms for about $24 a night at full occupancy. That is very rare. I would say that $24 a night is if you have a really crappy like air mattress in the living room. You can rent that for $24 a night here in the Bay Area. For very nice rooms, we're thinking maybe between $40 to $60 a night, maybe even $80 a night during the hot times like the summer or the fall. So that being said, our gross income could be up to $10,000 a month from this one house here in the Bay Area. And if that's the case, obviously we're gonna be cash flowing like crazy and we're gonna have a good ass time. And then maybe, like I said in the future, we can build an ADU in the back. We'll live in the ADU and then we can rent out the entire house for a lot more. So I'm very excited for this. Even though I lost my main source of income from my roommates, and I'm also very sad to see them go because again, I love living with them. It's gonna be very exciting to start this new venture with my girlfriend to convert my house into an Airbnb rental. So stay tuned to that. If you guys enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.